Om Shri Ganeshaya Namaha. Om Shri Saraswatyai Namaha. Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Shruti Smriti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavat Pada Shankaram Loka Shankaram Samasta Jana Kalyane Niratam Karunamayam Namami Chinmayam Devam Sadgurum Brahma Vidvaram Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langhayate Girim Yat Kripatamaham Vande Paramananda Madhavam Paramananda Madhavam. Hari Om. And before we start, that it is TBH, to be Hindu, the series. And it is a series of, we have like tentative 18 sessions planned. And so why 18 sessions? First, let's see. To be Hindu, it's a question. Is it a question or it's just a claim? That we'll explore. And why 18 session? Because it's a thousands of years or eons of that civilization, and if somebody asks a question like who is a Hindu, then answering it or understanding it will require more than one session, of course, but to understand it clearly, like what it really means, as the title says, so we will require some time to engage, to understand, to question, to reflect. So we will take that much time. And I am glad that you all will be there in this journey. Then, if I have to ask, what does that actually mean? Any answers? There will be answers, but right now, if you see your mind, the first question was, are you a Hindu? That is very clear. Of course, we are Hindus. That's why we are here. We are listening to be Hindu. But the second question, when it comes to us, what does it actually mean? Then the mind takes a pause because it has information, but it has scattered information, and it has information which sometimes we are not sure about also, which sometimes we doubt also. So we will explore this only, that there is a gap. When we are asked, what does it mean to be a Hindu? There seems to be a gap which we also cannot understand how to cross that. So we will try to work on that, this gap that you must have faced. I don't know if you have not faced that. Also, it is good because if you know something, we all will learn here. But I started this. This is the first webinar which I took because personally, as I'll tell you honestly how it started for me, because my journey was not like easy answers. I lived in a area where you don't get the answers that easily. I mean, family, of course we were Hindus, but the answers you don't get. And then we will see how it systematically, how that mindset comes where you start questioning. So that's why 18 sessions we will start today. And if the thing is, in school, what we do actually is, when we were given forms, till now, if we are given forms to write the religion, to mark the religion, we'll tick Hindu. But when somebody else asks, that is also one thing. Maybe you are convinced, but when somebody else asks, what is Hindu? What is being a Hindu? Then also we fumble. We don't know how to explain it. Maybe we have some concepts, but we fumble because we don't know how to answer, how to tackle the question that moment, that time. So we will see that also. Then one more thing is there, that what we will see today. Today's session is mostly about what is the Hindu problem. Why I am telling about Hindu problem? Because it is essential to first acknowledge the problem and then move ahead. So the Hindu problem is that we claim that we are Hindu, as we all claim, but the understanding is not there. We don't have understanding, full understanding. or if we can't, actually full understanding is a very, very, very big task, but some understanding at least if we have, and that we can explain to people, other people, to just not to be apologetic, but to have that proud that we claim we have, but to stand by it, that is essential. So that's why I ask those questions, because that gap, noticing that gap is essential. And Gurudev used to say one thing, that to understand anything is to find in it something which is our own. To understand anything is to find in it something which is our own. Means, if you analyze this, it seems like a quote which has deep meaning, and it has. Like, if we understand about something, it has to be associated with me somehow, somewhere. Then only my mind will work and try to understand it. That's how our mind works. So if I am applying vibhuti, or I am applying chandan, then the question is how it is impacting me, how it is affecting me. Do I understand it? When I understand it, then I am doing it naturally. It is not some religious practice that I have to do, but it becomes natural when I understand why I am doing this. So not understanding is the irony, and if we want to understand it with an example, if I have to simplify it with an example, that what this irony is actually, then it is like our grandfather, our great grandfather had a very, very, very big library, very precious books, invaluable in knowledge, and there was no parallel to it, that the library is such. But when we got it, we inherited it from our grandfather, from our fathers. But what we did, we sat outside it, and we sat polishing its wood, polishing its doors, polishing the shelves, cleaning, dusting the books, but we never opened them. That becomes our problem. When we claim that we have inherited something, but we don't open those books, we don't even know what is the depth of that knowledge. So this becomes you can say, if you want to see the irony in action, this is one example where you can understand that, of course, we have a treasure, but we don't know how to open it, and we have not even gotten close to it to open it. So, and we can claim that, yeah, I have inherited the great library, but without opening it, without understanding it, what is the use of it? It's just a showcase. That we should not do. So we have inherited, but we have not understood. That is one problem that we have to understand. While growing up, you all must have some experiences in life where we start questioning. So while growing up, I'll keep the series with my personal experiences also, so that it is relatable, and I'll encourage you all also to share your experiences, to share your questions, because that's how we will move ahead. Questioning is the only way that we can learn. So while I was growing, I used to hear one phrase, Bharat is sone ki chidiya. You must have heard. And I really understood it as the way it was used to be said. Bharat is sone ki chidiya. It is a golden bird. And I was proud of it. There was so much prosperity was there. There was so much harmony in the society. We learned that whenever you study ancient India, you will have that golden period was there. So Bharat was sone ki chidiya. I understood. And the civilization was advanced and everything. But then there comes an age of doubt, actually, when we start doubting everything. That is the teenage years. And that is required actually for your intellect to grow. So I started questioning then. Okay, I heard that Bharat is sone ki chidiya, and I really respect that it was a civilized nation. It was a great civilization. People were happy, people were prosperous, there was peace, if you see the temples, if you see the arts, the heights are great, nobody can touch it. But then when I looked around, there was so much of disharmony, there was so much of conflicts, there were people fighting, there is corruption, there is exploitation. Then this is not just something that came out of my head, it's based on the narratives which were set around us. So we need to understand that the problems which we went through, or in this identity, if you have to say that crisis of this identity of being a Hindu and understanding it, what it really means. So what happened was, there were a systematic environment which was provided, which forced us to question. So it was, if you remember, I don't know if you wrote the same essays as we wrote, but the essays we wrote were like on sati, like on child marriage, or on casteism. These were the topics that we were given to write, and the more you write, the more you think about it, and that it is always associated with the Hindu religion. So of course we will start questioning that if it was such a great civilization, how come these illness came into it, crept into it thousands of years, and still we are suffering from it? How can it be possible? And then when we got the topics like festivals, write about festivals, then what we wrote, we had some Hindu calendar tithi that होली त्योहार फागुन मास की पूर्णिमा में मनाया जाता है. This is the first line that we will write, and then we will go ahead that there is gujia, there are colors, and what is the philosophy? What is the philosophy? That we missed somehow, right? So there was a system in which we grew up, and there was a systematic way where we started questioning, where we were forced to question. We should have questioned, and it's good that we started questioning. But then what happens when we don't get answers? Then the mind doubts, that worm that comes, that that something is wrong, something is missing. And that is the age when you are rebellious, and you think that okay, what is gone, let's start anew. That's what I thought. I thought that okay, yeah, we were great, but right now what is the situation? So this is not the solution, relying on what we had. What we have now, we should move ahead with that. We should grow, we should have good education, we should work for the prosperity of nation, we should work for the environment, we should work for the education, removing poverty, all these things. All that phase comes when we want to change the things. So that is what happened. But what I did not understand was that moment, that you cannot build without a foundation. A foundation is the must. You should have a foundation to start building anew. You cannot build in the air, castles in the air. So this is what my journey was about when I started questioning. And I understood down the line, somehow with some grace, that I just had some kind of faith was there, and it just kept me on the path and led me to the acharyas, and I completed the Vedanta course. And I really feel blessed that I'm still exploring, but yes, it helped. The Sannidhi of acharyas helped to answer the questions. So we saw that problem is that we cannot make anything without a foundation. Foundation is the must, and it cannot come from just anywhere. What we have to build from there. And what we have or what we had, we have to understand what we had then. So we saw there was a systematic degradation in understanding, and that was what we will see as what were the symptoms of a colonized mind actually, if we want to explore. Of course, there are symptoms, and if we want to see that mindset which comes after years of invasion, after centuries of invasion and rule of some other countries, some other ideologies, what it does, it destroyed our universities, it destroyed our libraries, it destroyed our knowledge systems systematically. And why I'm going there, because we are trying to understand the problem. Okay, we saw there was a phase when we start questioning everything, when we can't find the answers, and when we ourselves look down upon our own practices, our own religion, we question our own people. But there is a background why we do this, and the answer is you must have studied in history, because it was never hidden. It was not hidden. The Britishers were that audacious, we can say. In 1835, there was this Macaulay's education policy. We all know, and his famous statements is he wrote that we want to produce a class of persons Indian in blood and color, but English in tastes, in opinions, in morals, and in intellect. That was the objective. That is not a side effect of a policy. That was the objective. So how we grew up, how we saw our things, how we criticized our things was based on these systematic. There was a system built to make us like that. But still, that was the grace of our forefathers, that their blessings, the God's blessings, that we still did not had that full conversion what they wanted. So, and then he also minimized, or he criticized our system, knowledge systems. How? When he said that a single shelf of good European library was worth the whole native literature of India. This is what was in the policy, and this is what we grew up. Ramayana, Mahabharata, we knew it as some stories. It's a history. Even calling it a history was not in our dictionary, in our school times, in our college times. Now maybe the things are changing, but I never grew up knowing them as our history. Of course, our parents have that faith. They will tell us, but our minds will not accept it like that there was a king called Rama. No, that time we were questioning, and it's okay. That system was like that. It forced us to do it, but we are sustaining. So and also we called it mythology. We never called it. That is what I said. That we never call it our itihas, or it is our history. It was mythology. Like we have Greek mythology or other religions or other ideologies, what they have. We also compared our system with theirs. We have that comparative study we started, and we thought that doing that will make us more modern, more civilized. So that is where we started falling actually. And that is where our looking outward to get validation started. Now we look outward to get validated for our own systems. So that is where there was a century-long, deliberate, engineered education policy, which was designed to make us the interpreters of somebody else's civilization, their judgments, and then on that criteria we started judging ourselves. So Swami Vivekananda, he diagnosed this disease way back before. He said that you talk of imitating the English and building up as big a nation as they are, but where are the foundations? Ours are only sand, and therefore the building comes down with a crash in no time. What is he saying? He is not trying to criticize anything, Western civilization or anything. But he's saying that what you are doing, if you want to build a nation just imitating other civilizations, that will not work for you, because your foundation you have forgotten, and without foundation, whatever you'll make, it will crash. It may shine for a moment, but it will crash. Of course it will crash, because the foundation is weak. The masses have something else as their foundation, and then you force upon it borrowed civilizational ideologies or systems. It will never work for the people. It will never work for the nation. So and this colonization, where we look outward, look west for our validation, it was not just for the clothes or for the food. It was deeper. And if we want to see, there are two levels. So first is at the visible level. at the visible level, physical. We started aping physical things like the clothes, like the food, that we started aping. And if today also, if you see, we are more frequent in English. I'll tell about myself. If I have to, we planned this series actually in English and Hindi. Tomorrow should be Hindi, but there were very few registrations. I think somebody from the Hindi also, they made them join here in this group. So if we say, if I am supposed to talk in Hindi tomorrow, then I have to sit and see if I can speak every word in Hindi with the same bhav, with the same meaning, because I will struggle, because my education was in English medium, which is also not very good, but I am nowhere I am in between right now. If I have to talk in Hindi, there will be some English words which will creep in. That is the problem. So we are more comfortable in English now. First aping language. Sorry. Then in our clothes, what is Western wear, we call it formal. We call it formal Western wear. And what is our ethnic dresses, we have particular ethnic days in our offices to have a day to wear your ethnic dresses, or the dresses which belong to you, which belong to your tradition. We have specific days for that. And of course festivals are there to show them off, but otherwise they are there. South, at least I am now in South, and I really appreciate that at least they wear their mundu and wear pride and they don't have any. But in North, if you go, there are only pants. The dhoti is like backward. So we grew up like that. We saw it like that. Then music, art, everything which is coming from outside is cool, and whatever we have is of course backward. It's some class only which has taste for it. Others, it does not go to the ground. It does not touch the ground. This is what we were told. And Swami Vivekananda also has this one more, I was reading, then he has one also incident where he had a disciple, Singhi, his name was Singhi, and he used to wear Western shirts often. And Swami Vivekananda one day scolded him like anything. He said, "Leave off that wretched shirt of yours." He said that the Westerners, for them it is undergarment, what you are wearing up as upper cloth, because you don't understand the logic of the dressing. You don't understand why they are wearing what, and you are just copying it without knowing it. And he said, one line was there, how mistaken of the Bengalis to do so, as if one should wear anything and everything, as if there was no unwritten laws about dress, as if there was no ancestral style to follow. He's telling this, that you think that you are doing something, to modernize yourself, to civilize yourself, but you don't know what is the logic of that dress. They are not wearing it, and we are at a time where we are confused right now still, that going in a wedding, can we wear a jeans and a hoodie? Yeah, the people question this. Why? Because it's comfortable. But what was the logic behind? Why were they wearing it? Why they are wearing it, and where we are bringing it? That is the problem. We are aping without understanding. So this is a shallow level of problem. When you see the iceberg, the tip part is very small. Under the ground portion that you don't see, invisible, that is the main problem, and that is where the level 2 comes. First level is physical aping, superficial. Second level is philosophical aping, that where the problem starts. So what happens when we started aping? Then we started following their ideas also, and we started to look up to those ideals or the ideas. So what we can right now think of, there is this, I will call it as paradox of one. So what happens if say you are traveling in a train, and of course you are wearing a bindi, tilak, or wearing a mangal sutra or sindoor, or you are wearing a rudraksh or anything. So the person beside you is of another faith, or somebody who doesn't believe in faith, and if that the person tells you that, I am from this faith, and my faith says there is one book, there is one God, there is one, but what your faith tells, Can you explain? Then you will be stuck. I will be stuck actually if I have to explain in that one moment that what do you have to say about this. Then the problem will come. We will start saying, oh yes, we have many gods, but there is only one God actually. We have many books, many texts, and no one book is there, but it is little complicated. Then we will start fumbling, and then we will say, okay, wait, there is one video which I saw, I'll share it with you. You see that. So there is never a direct answer we can come up with. So that is where the paradox of one comes. Why we fumble, we get confused, that we think that is it a bad thing? Is it that we don't have one? But what we don't understand is what we feel as being inferior is what was always our strength. It was always our strength. It was always which made us what we are today. So this multiplicity, that was never the confusion. That was actually the answer. So Sanatana Dharma does not say that there is one God, there is one book, because it was never trying to serve only one type of people with one temperament at one stage of life. There are different types of people with different inclinations, different stages of life, different stages of evolution, spiritual evolution. And for that, Sanatana Dharma provides paths, different paths. From where you are, you can see the truth like that. So this is a tradition which it is actually very hard to build such a tradition, such a civilization, such a dharma, which is not building just one single fixed answer, but rather giving a tradition spacious enough to fit everyone in. So there are, of course, monotheism is there, polytheism is there, there is a God with form, there is God without form. We will explore all these ideas later in the series. There is Ishvara, everything goes on together. There is no conflict in our traditions if you understand it fully. And that's how we survived. There were every kind of darshana, every kind of philosophy India has, and there was total acceptance. When we talk about tolerance, that is ingrained in our blood, because we philosophically that broad perspective is there, that openness is there to accept everyone and to follow a path which is suitable for you. So there is no need to fight for one God, one book. No, we accept, but yes, there are books which are important, that also we will see. What is the concept of God, that also we will see. And the point is that we accommodate. That's why we always have refugees from all over the world, of all the religions, of all the traditions, because we accept. And about the truth being one, the Rig Veda, the Vedas declare that nobody can come and teach us there is one truth. Of course, we know there is one truth only. The Advaita says that only. Rig Veda says that ekam sat viprah bahudha vadanti, means there is one truth which the wise people call as many. Means that, as we discussed, whatever is your stage of evolution, whatever is your inclination, according to that you are given a theory, a concept to follow by your gurus, by your acharyas. They know where you are and they make you understand how to move ahead with the path they give you. So, ekam sat vipraha bahudha vadanti. There is one truth, but the wise people tell them as with many names, with many forms, or with many names. They call it as many names. You call it Sri Rama, you call it Sri Krishna, you call it Shiva, you call it Vishnu, you call it Devi, anything you call it Brahman, you call it Nirakara Brahman, you call it Sakara Brahman, you call it anything. There is one truth. That is what we stand for. Also, Chandogya Upanishad also has one line that Sadeva Somya idamagra asit ekameva advitiyam. Again, one declaration only. There was only one truth. There is only one truth. And advitiya. It has no second. So, there is no doubt what we know, what the Shastra teaches us, what the civilizational roots have given us. There is one truth, but there is multiplicity. There is this rich tradition of multiple diverse devatas, the gods, the devis, because we need it and we will keep following it. Till there are bhaktas, there will be gods. So the irony is, so when we started, there was an irony. So irony is not that we have many gods, but that because the irony is that we started feeling apologetic about it. We cannot answer the people that yes, we have and we are proud of it. And there is a reason that there are many gods, because we need them. So this Sanatana Dharma is the only dharma where this difference, the acceptance of difference is there. That is very, very important. There is a difference among people and we accept that. It's not that all are equal and all should follow one path, one book. No, there are differences in people, in the ideologies, in the inclinations, and we accept, and according to that, path is given to people. That is our strength. So again, I'll quote Swami Vivekananda, because he was the one who just changed the scene for civilization, Hindu civilization, that image that in the times when we were very low, when we were looking down upon ourselves, it was Swami Vivekananda who gave us that pride, that be a proud Hindu. Then he says that imitation is not civilization. Imitation is not civilization. I may deck myself out in a Raja's dress, but will that make me a Raja? An ass in a lion's skin never makes a lion. Imitation never makes for progress. It is verily the sign of awful degradation in a man. What he's telling is that you can end up imitating anyone, anything, but it will not change the things for you, because where you are, what you need is there with you. The tradition is there, civilization is there. The solution, if you are in a problem, the solution is not aping something or borrowing something from outside. The irony is, the real irony is that we are importing the genders also now. So the problem goes very deep. But we are working on it. We will work on it. So this is what the problem is. Now we'll come to the solution. Solution is, if the colonization started that problem, or other factors may also be there which started the problem, that we started doubting ourselves, we stopped understanding ourselves, we started bypassing actually the understanding factor just because it was convenient. So the solution will be decolonization. So what is decolonization? It's not something political we are going to talk about. It's just at the level of psychology, at the level of philosophy, what we need to understand, what the confidence that we need to have in our wisdom, that is only what we are going to talk about as under decolonization. So if the disease, if we can say, is borrowed foundations, we borrowed the foundations, we are trying to borrow the foundation and build something on it, then the solution is understanding our own foundation, building our own foundation, exploring it. So the solution is not like, okay, reject the West and just accept whatever is ancient. That is also not the solution. Understand, question whatever is there in front of you, question and try to understand. Then only we can actually have that clarity to follow something or to have faith in something. So both the things have a problem. If you reject blindly or if you accept blindly, both the things have some extremes, are also always have some issues. So just try to analyze. We will do that only. We'll try to analyze and see what was there, what is there, and what was there, what was good. Why not take it? Why not accept it and move ahead with it? Make it as our foundation. So we will do that, and we will see how to stop outsourcing our validation to outside. That is what our motive will be. So the thing is, if you see in our lives also, if there is a report, there is a scientific article which comes, a scientist of high caliber. He says that meditation is very effective, or he gives another name. He calls it mindfulness or something, some subconscious level of some heavy words he gives, and he says that it is very good because it reduces your cortisol levels and it increases your endomorphine and some such terms he gives, and we all will be so mesmerized and we'll be like, yes, that is what it is, and then we accept, and second day we will start for meditation. We sit for meditation. This is what we do. And if that same thing in our own words, in our own language, Sanskrit, or in a local language, it is said by a rishi or a saint we call it fakir or saints, then we will not give it that much importance. Why? Because validation is not there. Scientific article, peer reviews are not there. So that we need to solve that problem. We will try to work on that. And so this is actually when we are talking about Swami Vivekananda quite often, but Swami Vivekananda also, he also had to be validated from the West, then we accepted him. But those were the times. We cannot go back and change things, make things easier for Swami Vivekananda. He was a great personality who changed the vision of the nation, who gave a new path to the nation, who built that feeling of pride in the nation. So, but that is what the thing is, that we accepted him also when he went to the word parliament, religion of parliament. But we will work on these deep level of problems when we start to understand our tradition, our foundation more. And how will we do? We will try to understand with first-hand knowledge. Like, we will go to the source. We will try to understand what Bhagavad Gita says, what Upanishad says, what is there in Puranas, what is there in our Shastra. We will try to explore in those terms. We will ask how and why, not just what is there, but how it is practiced, why it is practiced. We will explore that. And we will have reverence, but we will have the rigor to ask questions. We will engage. And this is what I will expect from your side. You ask questions. Whatever the difficult areas are there within the topic what we will be going to discuss, ask questions so that it is easier for you to understand. And if some questions are there which you think are very conflicting, which you really struggle to handle outside, I'll try, if whatever my acharyas have taught, I will try to share that. If the answers are there, otherwise I'll try to find them, and otherwise we will together try to find them. So we will check ourselves what is there and what we can make out of it, how we can understand better, in a better way. So we will not just believe anything, as Gurudev used to roar, do not believe me just because I'm saying it. Test it, analyze it, examine it. And that's what actually being Hindu is actually. When we say, no, what is being Hindu? Being Hindu is being that, having that wisdom to ask questions. All our scriptures start with questions. So just we'll start with asking questions, having a habit of asking questions. So what is this course about? When I don't know if you have received that course roadmap kind of thing, but I have prepared some modules and some topics which I'll share. There is module 1, identity and inquiry, and we are seeing first the Hindu problem. Then we will see what does it really mean to be Hindu next, where we will see terms and philosophies and more about it. Then module 2 is like core principles. Then module 3 is what is life design in Sanatana Dharma, and module 4 is knowledge traditions, where we'll see the Vedas and scriptures. Then Vedanta as a final journey. So there are 5 modules that I have prepared till now. But what I am suggesting, keep posting. If there are things that I'll post this till next week, I'll post this modules so that you have a look on the topics, and if there is something you want to learn, you want to understand, and if it is missing here, then you just post it, and I'll try to include whenever the time is there, or if the appropriate topic comes, and if that whatever you are suggesting fits there, I'll try to include it. We will do that. So this is what is we are going to do. So we will explore the common terms like, and which have some areas, gray areas of confusion, like dharma, what is karma, theory of karma, purusharthas, varnas, very controversial topics, some will come, but we will explore them, and Vedas, and then Upanishads, the highest knowledge which is there, we will explore that also. So this is our journey, will be our journey, and of course this is a science of living. Sanatan provides us that. We'll explore that. And there will be no exams, there will be no homework as such, but what is required will be question, just question whatever is being taught, question and apply, and see if you can, if it is making your life easier when you have to answer questions in your life, it is helping. Otherwise, come back to me, we will again find the answer. So what we'll do is we will rediscover our roots in these sessions. Right now 18 sessions we have planned. It may end before also, I don't know. We'll just move ahead and see how it goes. And so I just, now we have last 15 minutes. I will try to finish it fast and open it if somebody has to share something. So if you have seen a tree, if you have to imagine again, if one image you have to see, a tree cannot grow without its roots. Have you ever seen a gardener trimming the roots to make the tree bigger? Never. So for tree to grow it needs the roots. Roots should be strong, the system should be strong, it should have depth. That is what makes the tree grow faster, grow higher, grow in width, everything. So the roots that we are going to talk about is our traditions, our philosophies. But basically when we talk about our roots, it's not just the practices we are going to talk about, that why we do puja, why we do arati. Of course we will discuss in brief, but our focus will be on philosophy. Wisdom is the main thing. Wisdom is the main root, that wisdom as philosophy is the main root that we will need to understand, we will need to explore, we need to rediscover. And that's what we'll do. And why I was telling that examination, pariksha is essential in understanding, and everything has, if you start reading our scriptures, everything which is wise, you hear anywhere, it has a scriptural basis. And there is this Mundaka Upanishad, there is a line, parikshya lokan karmachitan brahmanaha nirvedamayat nastya krita kritena. What it is telling? It is telling about somebody who is moving ahead on the path of self-knowledge, one who is moving ahead. What he does, he examines what is there in the word, what can be gained with the actions, what can be gained. He examines and he understands that it's not fulfilling enough, and then he leaves. So pariksha is the main thing in our tradition, and that we will, that spirit of inquiry, that we will try to follow, that we will try to ignite and keep it ignited till the end of the course, this webinar. So we will do this, and at the end we will try to reach that Shraddha, which is Shraddha. When we hear Shraddha, we translate it as faith, but not just faith. It's when we talk about faith also, then in our Shastra, when Shraddha is taken, Shraddha is not just an emotion, not just some blind faith you are following. So at the end of the course, we will try to reach a point where we have Shraddha, which is what it actually should be. Shraddha is actually an intellectual faculty. Means when you understand something, then you have faith in it. That is what Shraddha is, not blind faith. We are not talking about some belief. We are talking about generating Shraddha, which will help us to grow, which it will help us grow in life, which will help us face the world, which will help us stand and proudly say, yes, I am Hindu and I know I am Hindu. So that Shraddha we will try to reach. And just now to conclude, now we have 10 minutes. I'll open the mics for also. So just to conclude that in the starting when we started, I asked, but whoever is Hindu, just raise your hands. Of course we were Hindus, we raised the hands. And then that gap came, right? That to explain why you are a Hindu or what do you understand, that gap, I just want you to just keep that gap in acknowledgement, so that you know that there is a gap that we are trying to fulfill in these sessions that we will try to focus on. That we will have questions only in the sessions and we'll try to find the answers of them. And Sanatana Dharma, as I told about that golden bird, that Sone ki chidiya, then of course I said that I thought that chidiya is gone, right? I used to think. But the thing is, if we try to understand now that chidiya, that golden bird, that golden color was not because of the wealth which was plundered. That golden bird was not golden because of that coins which were looted, or the great palaces which were ruined, or temples which were destroyed. The great wealth was this philosophy, this wisdom that made it shine. And that Sanatana Dharma, we still have that Hindu religion that we call, we still have that in our hand only. We just need to realize it, and understanding it is only polishing it. We will understand, and that shine will come by itself. That will again be that golden bird the moment we accept what we have, and what we need to do is just to understand what we have. So it is not a lost treasure actually. We don't have to go anywhere. We just have to acknowledge that we are born with it. We inherited it from our ancestors, and we just stop believing in it that it can shine, but it is still shining. We just need to understand and start seeing it. So we'll just start doing that only. And again, I will just request that in each session, the objective will be think, question, reflect. That is the pattern which we'll follow. And as the topic says, TBH, to be Hindu. And if anybody knows TBH, the full form of TBH, the regular full form, it is to be honest, right? So to be Hindu is actually to be honest first. To be honest to acknowledge that yes, there is a gap. Yes, we lacked somewhere in understanding. We bypassed that understanding path. But we acknowledge, and we will try to understand, and we will actually find the answer why we are Hindus and what it really means to be. So with this, I will just conclude today. And we have inherited we are blessed to be born in this country, to be Hindus, to have this great tradition and this great civilization. But without understanding it will be just mere claims. So in this series, we will just try to understand what is the significance of this term Hindu, what actually it is to be Hindu. I will end it here. Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.